Ready now?
You want to go?
Breaking Brown family, I am back. Because apparently, so far as where we are right now, Donald Trump, the Donald, is winning the election. I'm looking at Fox News right now, and Fox News has Donald Trump at 254 electoral votes and Hillary Clinton at 209. We're talking about he won Florida, I hear North Carolina, Ohio. Now compare this to last week. When I was hearing, I saw posters saying that Donald Trump didn't have a chance of winning the election. They said Donald Trump's odds of winning the election are near zero. Now, I don't know. The night's not over. I don't know if he's going to win at all. But what I can say is that he's very close. What I can say is this is a competitive race as opposed to what I was told it was going to be. And I said, well, the media has been so on the side of Hillary Clinton. The media has blown up her qualifications so much. The media has, made everything about Trump's, alleged sexual, deviances in terms of I can grope a woman or whatever. And they've made that into an assault as if, I don't know whether he did it or not. He said what he could do as a rich man. You can do a lot of things as a rich man in America. We're in a neo-feudal society. So I thought with all of that happening, it would kind of knock Trump back. And he wouldn't be competitive maybe in this time of the race because of what he's been through. But apparently that's not true. But Irony had a different kind of take on it. He thought that Trump would be all right, and I want him to kind of speak on that.
Yeah. Okay. So a lot of people understand or don't quite understand that when Americans, especially Americans, but people in general, when they have to choose between a big asshole and then like a little asshole, Americans choose the real thing. Like, as soon as we found out that Clinton lies a little bit, and that it was obvious that she lies a little bit and that she has been spending the last 15 years selling access and influence for over $100 million, like, as soon as she was slightly corrupt, it made the decision between someone who's hugely corrupt and then someone who's, like, corrupt in a different way. And in that case, like, America's just going to choose the real thing. This is why Bernie Sanders was the best candidate against Donald Trump. You don't send like a minor villain against a major villain. You send a hero. So it was. I never really understood why people thought Hillary was such a strong candidate, because she just seemed like a weaker, slimier version of the kind of politics that Donald Trump embodies in his business. So the moral argument was never in Hillary's favor, and so and in a race to the bottom, who do you want to be? Like, Donald Trump is a nightmare candidate to be in competition with in a race to the bottom. You ask Jeb Bush, or you ask Chris Christie, you ask all these people who like thought they could either take the high ground on Trump or the low ground on Trump, but like themselves weren't very high or very low, and he's going to beat you in a race to the bottom. So this is on the Democrats who actually thought that Hillary Clinton was the most electable candidate. If you were a Democrat and you thought, well, I actually think Hillary Clinton is incredibly qualified and would make the best Secretary of State, then like you did what you thought you should do. If you voted for Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, if you thought that she was the most electable, or you thought that she was a shoo-in, or if you just thought that she was the strongest candidate, like, this is your problem that you've saddled America with. Because she was never the strongest candidate, not by like it was a part of an ideology that pushed that she was the strongest candidate. And the media pushed that she was the strongest candidate just because they get paid to push that she was the strongest candidate. Like Bernie Sanders was always the stronger candidate against a Donald Trump. So it's really so for that portion of the electorate who voted for Hillary in the primary because she thought she was the stronger candidate and she was more electable. Like this was a bad move on your part. We'll work through it. That's fine. But like this was a thing that could have been avoided. We could be hailing the socialist Democratic candidate who like wanted to fund schools and clean up our water instead. But now we're like worried that it could be Hillary Clinton. Go with that.
Well, and I just want to say that, like, everybody who was telling us, no, Bernie's not the guy. No, Bernie can't beat Trump. Bernie can't beat Trump. You all are too idealistic and going with Bernie. I just want you to look at what's happening tonight. Look at what's happening tonight. I just went to CNN and it says that the headline is Trump surges. The headline before that was cliffhanger. That was the headline. And that's where we are. We don't know whether Trump's going to be our president tomorrow. And you had everybody in the media saying, because they were working for Hillary Clinton, saying that, you know what, Hillary Clinton's going to win. And I saw all these articles about how Donald Trump represents the darkness in America and Hillary Clinton represents the light. And you had all these women turning out at Susan B. Anthony, putting stickers on graves and stuff. And where did that get you? All that stuff you did. So, I mean, I think you have to, you know, Democrats, you centrist Democrats, you run-of-the-mill Democrats, you are the ones who have cost us. If Donald Trump wins tonight, it's your fault. You gave us Hillary Clinton. You selected Hillary Clinton as the person who would be the nominee of the Democratic Party. We could have had someone else. But you chose her. You wanted her. So, like, you're the problem. It's not the problem that not enough black people came out to vote. It's not a problem that not enough working class people came out to vote. It's not a problem. None of that stuff is a problem. I know you're going to try to blame it on somebody. You're going to try to blame it on black people. Black people, you want to blame everything on black people. You're going to try to blame it on Jill Stein. You're going to try to blame it on third party. You're trying to go Larry Johnson. No, it's your fault. Because we were telling you Hillary Clinton is an abysmal candidate. She's slimy. She's smarmy. She's corrupt. She's the worst that America has to offer. But you still were like, nah, she's our candidate. And we're going to vote for her. And you need to vote for her. It's her turn. It's her turn. And you know what? I don't know what the end of this night will bring. But what I'm telling you is that the end of this night could bring you with President Trump. And I'm, you know, regardless of how you feel about Trump, you all, I mean, those of you who were adamant Hillary supporters, you deserve everything you get right now. You deserve all of it, because basically this is white working class people taking their country back from you. They don't want white feminists. They don't want white women. They don't want black people. They don't want none of the Hispanics. You know, they don't want nobody to come over the border. They don't want none of us. They don't want Paco. They don't want nobody. This is where we are, right? It doesn't matter how I feel. It's just the way things are. And at least they understand, like, the benefit I do give white working class people. People love to talk about Trump supporters. Oh, Trump supporters are racist. Trump supporters are awful. The benefit I give Trump supporters is at least they realize that America wasn't working for them anymore, and they decided to do something about it.
Yes.
I appreciate that. America ain't been working for black people in a long time. We won't do a damn thing about it. But they decided, they said, we don't care. We do not care who your candidate. We don't care about Hillary. We don't care about nobody. We care about the establishment not working for us, and we're going to vote out the establishment. Now, mind you, the establishment has worked okay most of the time for most white people. It hasn't worked perfectly. We got poor white people, but it's worked okay. But the minute that stuff started falling downhill, working class white people said, we ain't taking this no more. We ain't taking this no more. We vote for Trump. What did black people do? We voted for the right wing of the Democratic Party. So now we here on election night in a conundrum, all shook and frazzled and scared because we don't know what's going to happen. Well, you shouldn't have voted for Hillary. You shouldn't have voted for her. You should have said, I want Bernie. I want somebody else. I don't want this crooked white woman. I don't want her. Take her somewhere else and do something else with her. Maybe she can find another job. Maybe she can find something else to do, but she can't do nothing for me. But y'all voted for her. You went out and you put on your I voted sticker for Hillary Clinton. What'd you do that for? Which one of your ancestors would have been happy about seeing you with an I voted sticker for Hillary Clinton? Tell me which one. Why are you excited?
Give the people the phone number.
What's the phone number, Iron? What is the phone number?
All right, so
970. The phone number is 970-296-8222. Once again, that's 970-296-8222. And I want to find out, what do you all have to say about what's going on tonight with Donald Trump? He's supposed to be gone by now. We're supposed to be in bed. I'm supposed to be asleep, having myself a hot toddy, a glass of bourbon to calm myself down. And look at this. He's still in here. Y'all told me he was going to be gone. Y'all told me it was going to be Hillary. What do you have to say now? I just want to know. So just call in and let me know, like, what this is supposed to mean. I'm still kind of hoarse, but let me know. Hello?
Yvette.
What's going on?
Yvette.
Yes.
How you doing?
Pretty good.
What's going on? Listen, I knew this was going to be close all of the way, and I'm not surprised at these results because it's not just the white working class, it's also middle class whites who also see that that their lifestyle and jobs and so forth can be they've seen some erosion in that lifestyle, and they're like, you know what, even if and they figure, hell, they'll go with him, and what this also shows you is the right wing of the Democratic Party with those neoliberal policies. You cannot. All that does is a congruency for fascism, and we don't see we don't see what happens if in fact he does win. But I'm not surprised at this at all. And there are a whole bunch and folks who bought, and there are so many people who bought the Kool-Aid. They just reported that Hillary Clinton did win Nevada. But all of these people who bought the Kool-Aid about the media. I knew this was garbage. I knew it was garbage. And Trump is still up by 23 electoral votes. So the bottom line to this is you can't keep crying wolf. Sooner or later the wolf is going to show up. And the other thing is that a non-electoral strategy has to be crafted because whether you got Negro whisperers or not, a Trump win. We're gonna see all kinds of crazy stuff out here, and as you will with a Hillary Hillary win, and more specifically, you're gonna have folks who are gonna try to blame black communities for this. When the bottom line is this is on Hillary Clinton and the right wing of the Democratic Party, because here's a woman who is she can't even advocate for herself for the top job in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, her surrogate for months now been saying how bad Trump is. They ain't saying nothing about. She ain't came out and just took and walked in the aisle with a mic and said, this is who I am. This is what I'm about, and took questions. She ain't never done that. It's, and now we have to prep and. Like I said, only time, we ain't got long to find out, whether she wins or loses. This is, this is not a surprise though at all, in terms of the fact that the race was so close.
Well,
white nationalism, that whole thing about making America great again, folks, there are a whole bunch of folks who bought that, hook, line, and sinker. And the thing of it is, again, I just don't believe that basic manufacturing is going to be able to come back to this country the way Trump talks about it, because we're talking about cheap labor in Vietnam and places, and some can talk about tariffs and stuff like that, but whatever manufacturing does come back to the United States, it's going to be small roboticized plants manned by engineers making $150,000 a year. You might have a small plant with 3 engineers per shift. A mid-sized plant or a large plant manned by 5 engineers per shift, over a 24-hour period. They all make $150,000 a year. That is what you will get in terms of, jobs coming back. But it ain't going to be no more assembly line stuff like we had with General Motors.
Let me just interrupt you. Let me just say something.
For the last 60 years.
Let me just say, it was. I remember John McCain when he was running against Barack Obama. He said the jobs are gone and they're not coming back. And people rail him over the coals and said you're just being pessimistic. You're not right. What you said is not true. But he's right. Our manufacturing jobs are gone to poor countries where they can pay people less money and they're not coming back. And so we need to find out what kind of future we have after the jobs aren't coming back, instead of just letting people lie to us and say, no, the job's coming back. We can make the job. No, you can't.
All right, we're going to go to the next caller.
Go ahead.
Hello?
How you doing?
Hello, Yvette. This is Shannon, a longtime fan and listener.
Hey, how you doing, Shannon?
I'm good. I'm enjoying this election feedback going on, particularly because this is exactly what this country deserves. America. And I don't know why black people in particular thought he was not. Because we act brand new. We act surprised. Like, these are the same people who are descendants of slaves, who went through segregation, who don't have anything going for them, but all of a sudden, we surprised that they elected this man president. About to. in a couple of hours, it looks like.
Well, you know what I say,
like,
Shannon. You know what I say, Shannon. I think black people think they white now. I think. Let me just break that down. People say, no, black people don't think they white. No, yes, they do. Because they don't understand generational wealth that came from slavery and all that. So what happens is that black people go outside and they see a white man and he got on a polo shirt just like I got on a polo shirt. He got on khakis just like I got on khakis. So they say, well, we the same. We the same. Look at us. We the same. You ain't the same as him. You're not the same as him. You don't have what he have. And he don't tell you what he got, because he ain't got to tell you nothing. Because to him, you are what? You know what you are. So he ain't got to tell. He's never going to tell you the whole story. But that's who he is. So my whole thing, Shannon, in terms of that, is that I think black people think they white. And I think that's part of the problem that we run up with. You didn't have to tell a sharecropper that he was black. He knew he was black. You didn't have to tell a slave he was black. He knew he was black. You didn't even have to tell somebody in 1982 he was black. He knew he was black. We don't know what we are anymore.
You are exactly right. And I think it's going to only get worse, because all they're going to do is blame Republicans instead of looking at themselves. 2020, they still going to elect Democrats. They still not going to realize the Democrats hate them. There's no Republicans hate them. They think Democrats love them. So what do the Negroes going to have to do to rectify the situation? Because we lost our bargaining chip. Donald Trump tried to talk to us. We didn't want to listen to him.
We didn't want to hear it.
Now they got to rectify the situation.
We didn't want to hear it. I told black people on my Facebook, we need to at least set a meeting. Let's parlay. I don't have a problem with parlaying with Trump. Let's have a conversation about what's in the best interest of black people. Oh, Yvette, you a sellout. You must be for Trump. I'm not for Trump just because I want to meet with Trump. I'm for black people. And so I want to put the agenda of black people in front of Trump. He might not know. He come from a wealthy white family. I don't expect Trump to know what's best for black people. I want to get in front of him and tell him. But people told me I was a sellout for wanting to get in front of him. Now I look at the night and Trump's in the head and we got nothing. We got nobody in the room. We look stupid. We look stupid. We have no backup plan for this. We have no plan for a Trump presidency. What does this tell you about black politics? Stupid.
And we are devastated. And I don't understand why. Like, we are devastated that a Clinton did not get in office after what the first one did to us. We cannot fathom how we could not have elected her when she has shown us time and time again that we ain't shit to her. Like, that's what I don't understand. When are we going to get out of that mentality that these people actually give a damn about us?
That requires a political education. I did a great interview with Nathan Robinson, who wrote a book on the Bill Clinton's abuse of the black community. And the thing about it is, I was struck by the fact that this white man knew more about how Bill Clinton had used and abused black people than black people do. Black people still think they had it good during the Clinton era. No, you didn't. She put all these Clintons put your sons in jail, put your brothers in jail, and all that stuff. Like, you didn't have it good during the Clinton years. You did not have it good, and there was a credit bubble, which made it appear that the economy was good. The economy wasn't even good. It's just a facade, and we can't get black people to catch up to the fact that they didn't do right by us. They actually were worse than George Bush and George H.W. Bush, I think, in terms of how they treated and how they used the black community to win white votes. That's who they are.
All right. Let's take
You're right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. No, thank you. I appreciate it.
They're not gonna listen. Hello.
Hello?
You're on.
You on?
Hi. So I live in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh, hello,
It's
Ohio.
been quite interesting because I work for a major corporation, and so I've seen all the people I work with and how adamant that they were Trump supporters. And my father, who is a delusional Hillary supporter that we talk about all the time, we argue every day. I told him, Hillary, these white folks is not voting for her. They are not voting. They will vote for anybody. They do not want to see her in the White House anymore. So it's quite hilarious to me to see how, like, literally how in shambles my timelines are. Because they are devastated. Like the lady before you, she said that they're devastated. And then it's funny because they're talking about moving to Canada, and I keep telling people, y'all know other countries don't let poor folk in, right? Most people just think they can just buy a one-way ticket. I'm like, it don't work like that. That's not how it works. They won't let you in.
No,
And then you won't have a ticket to get back home. What you gonna do?
We're not listening.
And then I wanted to touch on robots because I want people to understand how we need to. Robots are real. I sat in a meeting with a company that's doing development in India to make accounting and finance done by robots. They're currently writing the algorithms right now. Everything will be done by robots in about 25 years.
Listen. I have read so many. I have read so many articles about artificial intelligence. One of the most interesting articles I read was about how they have these robots that are picking the bones out of chickens. So when you get a boneless chicken breast, a robot pick that bone out of your chicken. Like, if you can get a robot to pick a bone out of a chicken, you can get a robot to do anything. I've seen so many stories. I saw that Uber story about the driving the Budweiser or whatever on the truck so far away. Like, they don't need.
Yeah, I heard you earlier.
Yeah, they don't need us anymore. Like, like, they don't like capitalism.
No, seriously. And when you mention the universe, and what's crazy to me is, like, I keep telling my father, like, I'm not sure, when did you all become capitalists?
Yeah.
I'm included in that. Like, they don't support a universal, like, wage. And I'm like, but why? Like why? Like, how are we black people capitalists? Like, I'm so confused. Like, you're right. We don't know who we are. And hopefully they get a wake-up call. He's currently, like, downstairs maybe crying a little bit.
All right, so this
it's like, are y'all ready to wake up now?
Yeah, no, this call.
It's time.
Yeah, she knows it.
And
Bravo.
I told my timeline, just in case you watch the CNN, you should listen. White working class is the largest voting bloc in the country.
Yes, ma'am.
We don't matter. And I keep telling them, we 13% of the population, and that doesn't include about half of us who can't vote for felonies. Don't forget that. How we took away your cousins, Pookie, they can't vote. Y'all telling them to go vote, and they don't have the right. Y'all don't even know that.
Oh, you better preach this evening.
And I'm from Fort Lauderdale too, so I get to see. I'm from Fort Lauderdale, but I live in Ohio, so I get to see the two swing states. And I keep reminding them that 1020 life was real.
Yeah, you
They
better.
don't have the rights. And Florida's one of those states they don't restore them.
You better take it to school this evening. Go on, keep going. I'm with
and
you.
And the thing is, like, they don't want to hear it. My timeline, they don't want to, they don't want to hear the truth. And then you got people who keep talking about, oh, I didn't grow up in the hood. I grew up in the suburbs. And I'm like, you're one out of, like,
Yes.
several million. Who did it?
Yes.
So do you feel better now? Now that you got that out your system, do you feel better now? Because, Flint said, oh, I have drinking water. I personally went and delivered water to Flint, and I had to look those kids in the face and watch them haul around bottled water to classes because there's no water available for them to use. I've seen that with my own eyes, and we are delusional. We're delusional about our place in this country, and hopefully we understand where we are now.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you.
I'm sure. Thank you.
Oh my God! Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for that call. Let me just. I mean, I appreciate that call so much because Black people, we are delusional. She said something which was so powerful. She said, "We don't understand our place in this country. We don't understand our place in this country," and she's right. We are 13% of the population. We're not even the free labor we used to be. We don't understand our place in this country. Like people say, well, I deserve this, I deserve that. People, let me just say something, Black people. The reason people in Flint are drinking lead-based water, and lead is a neurotoxin. The reason they're drinking lead-based water is because poor people are supposed to drink lead-based water and dirty water. That's what happens all around the world. You see poor people everywhere drinking dirty water. And that's what we've been relegated to. They've said these Negroes are poor. Ain't nobody invested in them having nothing clean. It's not, you can't go around here no more talking about what you deserve. You're 13% of the population. Let me tell you something. They can do a Flint to any Black community. They can Flint Atlanta. They can Flint parts of New York. They can Flint Detroit. Right? They can do that to any of us, and we can't do anything.
Are we really supposed to pretend that Flint is the only place with poor water? Come on, the entire state of Mississippi, we know that Flint isn't the only place with lead water. Everywhere there's a congregation of Negroes, you need to check your water. And also the point she made about why are Black people tied to capitalism? That just doesn't make sense. We should be tied to public goods, which include fully funded non-selective enrollment schools and clean water. Let the capitalists take care of their capital. Black people don't worry about the stock market. That's not our problem. At our level of poverty, excuse me. At our level of poverty, don't worry about how your little $5,000 is doing in the stock market. It's not about you. You need to worry about a fully funded public school for your kids and a fully funded way to get clean water for your family. That's where you're at. You need jobs, and don't worry about your little portfolio, your little piddly portfolio. You're not a player. It ain't about you. That stock market, that talk, is not about you. In fact, even the jobs numbers aren't about you anymore because it's there's so many Black men in jail that we don't even have accurate jobs numbers because those people have fallen out of the labor force. So you need to worry about jobs, clean water, and schools. Let the capitalists worry about saving capitalists for white people. Are you gonna take another call?
Okay, let me just say one thing. Let me just say one thing before we take another call. I gotta say one thing about what the caller said about capitalism. Capitalism makes sense only if you have capital. If you don't have capital, capitalism don't make no sense. Stop telling me about Black capitalism, you stupid. Black capitalism without capital is just poor niggas. That's just all it is. So stop telling me about that. It's just let me use the ocean as an example. If you're in the ocean, a shark is a capitalist. That's the analogy. That's the perfect analogy. The shark is gonna eat little fish. It's gonna eat krill. It's gonna eat all kind of stuff. If you a teeny tiny fish or you the krill, you're going to get ate by the shark. It don't make no sense for you to go out there as a teeny tiny fish or a piece of krill and say, I'm going to compete with the shark. No, you're designed to be food for the shark. You're the shark's dinner. The best you can do is hide. That's why capitalism doesn't work for us. Because we can't compete. While other people were getting money, we were enslaved. So we can't compete. Capitalism doesn't work for Black people because we ain't got no money. And anybody who tells you different is a liar. So, don't listen to that. Capitalism is not for us. Capitalism is for people who have capital. We don't have capital. It's not our fault. We shouldn't feel bad about ourselves. We were in chains. We should these people who put us in chains should feel bad about themselves. We shouldn't feel bad about ourselves. So stop telling you, well, I can do it on my own. No, you can't. If you could have done it, we would have done it. We've been here a long time. Stop saying you can do it. We can't. We would have. We could have. Stop lying. Now let's take the next call.
All right, let's take the next call. Hold on.
Hello?
How you doing?
Hello?
Hello?
Am I on?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Am I on?
Yes.
Hi. Hi, Yvette. Good morning, I should say. I'm in Columbus, Ohio. Calling from Columbus, Ohio. How are you?
Good morning to you. How you doing?
I can be better. I've seen better days.
Oh.
I can tell you that. But real quick, I don't want to take much of your time, but I just want to tell you that I'm really proud of the work that you're doing and the voice that you are, and all the information that I've gained and learned from you. I really appreciate that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Real quick, I just want to read something that I came across last night. I was scouring the internet, and I came across Harry Belafonte back in 2008, and he was at the Congressional Black Caucus with both Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton.
Mm.
And at that time, he shared a story with the crowd, and he said that Dr. King, in the last year of his life, actually said something that was really intriguing to Harry Belafonte. He said, "But I've come to believe that we are integrating into a burning house. I'm afraid that America has lost moral vision she may have had, and I'm afraid that even as we integrate, we are walking into a place that does not understand that this nation needs to be deeply concerned with the plight of the poor and disenfranchised. Until we commit ourselves to ensuring that the underclass is given justice and opportunity, we will continue to perpetrate the anger and violence that tears the soul of this nation. I feel I am integrating my people into a burning house."
Mm.
I think those words are relevant today more so than anything, because here we are, we're going back and forth about why Hillary didn't win the nomination. And in my opinion, I think that if you put a tainted candidate such as Hillary Clinton in front of the nation, and you also have given a lot of examples of where Hillary Clinton has flip-flopped on certain key issues. Also, what didn't help her was the WikiLeaks that came out.
That's true.
We have never in the history of America had a presidential candidate that had 2 pending criminal FBI investigations. See, a lot of people don't understand that when they thought the FBI investigation, they were just going on an Easter egg hunt. No, they were going on a criminal investigation.
Yeah.
And so you have to take that into consideration. What would this administration be like if we already know that Hillary Clinton is in the bed with Wall Street? We already know that Hillary Clinton is in the bed with private prison industries. We already know that Clinton is in the bed with fracking and the big oil companies. What kind of nation would this have been for the next 4 years? If she had won, which is still in the air, but if she had won,
Well,
what would we have really gained?
No, I agree with you. I think people get caught up in this whole idea of, well, she's a sister and she's one of us, and
She's
we
not
don't,
one of us.
Yeah, and we don't decide how she's one of. What's the criteria for being a black person? I mean, these are the same people you have to consider. These are the same people who called Bill Clinton the first black president, and he was the worst president to black people. So I agree with what you just said, and I'm gonna, I gotta move on. Irma's telling me to move on, but I agree with everything you just said. But it comes to how we assess and how we interpret the information that we have. And that's the problem. We don't interpret, we don't assess it correctly. So we don't know that, like, Hillary Clinton's detrimental. Hillary Clinton's awful to us. She's always been awful to us. Bill Clinton's been awful to us. He was an awful president to black people. And until you get black people to own that, to own what it's meant to serve under, to be around under the Clintons, this is what you have. So I think you're exactly right.
All right, let's take another call.
Sure thing.
Hello.
How
Hello?
you doing?
Hi, Lon.
Yes.
Hey, how you doing, Yvette?
Pretty good. How you doing?
I'm from California. I just want to first say I'm very proud of you. I've been following you this whole election season, and I just want to say thank you for your voice, and we need more of you.
Thank you.
So, yeah, thank you. And I want to just, I guess what kind of touched me this whole election season, and I wish Black people were really focused on, is that the Clintons have really built a real master-slave relationship with Black people in the sense of, like, we don't understand why we're so indebted to them and why kind of have an idea of this. They go to the capitalism idea and Black people being obsessed with, that whole ideology, but I feel like when you look at stuff like the Roland Martin and the WikiLeaks emails and the Donna Brazils, like why are this pay to play with the Clintons? It's infiltrated our community so much that why do we allow celebrities and the Negro whisperers, I guess I should say, to infiltrate it so much? I don't know if you could speak to that a little bit.
Oh no problem. Thank you. But I think it's a two-pronged thing, right? Like Black people, because of how we've been relegated in society, we've been forced to kind of be collective. We've been forced to kind of grab hold and whatever's Black is good. So we support each other. But the problem with supporting each other is sometimes you support people who are absolutely awful in terms of the Black agenda and who only have their own self-interest at heart. And I think that's what happens to us as Black people. We're supporting Black people in media. When you look at Roland Martin, when you look at Donna Brazil, we want to support them because they're Black and because they're doing good stuff. That's who we are. We want to support each other. And supporting each other is a good thing. If the person you're supporting has your best interest at heart. But the problem is Donna Brazil and Roland Martin don't have our best interests at heart. They're out for self. They're trying to figure out how to maneuver themselves in terms of the Clintons. How to get themselves, I want to be in with the Clintons. Roland Martin probably like, I want to write a book about them. Donna Brazil's like, I want a job. I want to work for the DNC. So these people are navigating themselves in a way that benefits them individually. And we are supporting them collectively. And that's the problem. We have to be smart about who we support. That doesn't mean we can't support Black people, but we have to support Black people who support the Black community. And that's not most of these Black people. You have to support Black people who support you. That's it. And if they're not doing that, they can't get our support. And we need Black media to do that, to say, hey, if you're not here for us, then we can't do anything for you. We can't do anything for you for just supporting Hillary or whatever. You got to be down for the Black community. You got to be down for our agenda. We have our points here, and that's what we have to do. So I agree with what you said, but I think that's how we have to move in the future. We have to be serious. We have to be serious about who we support, and we have to tell these people, I'm not supporting you. I'm not supporting you. It's not happening. I don't care how much you whine, whimper, beg, and moan. It's not going to happen. And so I think if we do that, if we get serious, instead of just supporting people because they're Black, but instead supporting people because they have our interests at heart, then we can move forward. Only then.
All right, let's take another call.
Hello?
How you
Hey.
doing?
You are?
Yes, my name is Scotty from Columbus, Ohio. Been following you
Hey,
for
Scotty.
a long time. Your videos with voice walking.
How you doing?
You hear me?
I can hear you fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. This election has basically exposed a lot of people, like especially on the left. I mean, I'm looking at these results and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, wow, they really screwed the pooch on not paying attention to working class voters' concerns. I'm looking at the results, especially in states like Wisconsin. The fact that Trump is actually being competitive in Wisconsin should be an embarrassment to the Democratic Party. The fact that in Wisconsin, the Democratic Party stronghold, and from the last time I checked, he was winning there. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, wow, Bernie Sanders is
I can
probably
take this.
kicking himself in the foot right now because the Democratic Party screwed him. It's true. They screwed him. They screwed his voters. I'll also say the radical left, in the sense, played a role because they didn't recognize the moment that Bernie Sanders played. Instead, they came up with the whole sheepdog role.
Oh, speak on it, please. Please speak on it. Thank you so much for saying it. I'm gonna let you go, but thank you so. I'm gonna let you finish, but thank you so much for saying it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I will say that the Hillary Clinton supporters were the most obnoxious, smug people operating from a position of power. That, like, it's one thing that, like, these people were so smug with all of their degrees, and I go by the funky academic. I have a ton of degrees, and like, I do pretty well now, but like, they came from with their degrees and their pantsuits and their, like, just sense that obviously Hillary Clinton is, like, superior, like, to you and everybody else, as if, like, Hillary Clinton would be anyone in politics if she weren't married to Bill. Hillary Clinton moved up. She married up. She married into the role, and we act as if, like, she, like, got it because of her SAT scores. We act as if she couldn't do anything wrong, although she failed the bar once. Like, we act as if, like, Hillary Clinton was some perfect candidate, and we were sold Hillary Clinton as if she were some perfect candidate, and then made fun of when we said, like, do you really want to look too closely at the books for the Clinton Foundation? Or, they've made a lot of money over the last 15 years selling access and influence. I don't think she's gonna, like, withstand scrutiny. Or, like, in a race between in a contest between someone who's a little bit corrupt and someone who's hugely corrupt, Americans are probably going to want to pick the real thing. I would make these arguments, and I would say that, no, the antidote for Hillary Clinton isn't, or the antidote for someone like Donald Trump isn't Bernie Sanders, it's someone like Bernie Sanders. Or the antidote for Donald Trump isn't someone like Hillary Clinton, it's someone like Bernie Sanders. But then these smug Hillary Clinton supporters would look at me like I was naive. I obviously don't know how politics works, because all of their brunch friends are obviously with her, and I'm just some sexist when I point out that, like, no, Hillary Clinton is just an awful candidate. She's an awful candidate. Not like a kind of bad candidate, but like an awful candidate because she thinks poor people are losers. How far can you go in American politics if you evince that you think poor people are losers? Nobody put a gun to her head to call working, like, women on welfare, single moms, deadbeats. That's just something she came up with. Like, nobody made her call half of America, like half of Donald Trump supporters, deplorables. Like, that's just something she came up with because she thinks poor people are losers. Hillary Clinton is your boss's daughter who marries well and, like, thinks that like she got it on her own. I don't understand the fetish for Hillary Clinton, but I do know one person whose ghost might be happy about this, besides, like, and that is Shirley Chisholm. There's no difference right now between Hillary Clinton and Shirley Chisholm. They were both, like, competent candidates. And hopefully the first woman president will be someone closer to Shirley Chisholm than Hillary Clinton. That's all I have to say about that. But why were we under the illusion that Hillary Clinton was a stronger candidate than she was, Yvette?
I think it was just the media. I think the media gave us this idea. They kept pushing this thing on us. Like, when you really look at it, Hillary Clinton was the beneficiary of her husband. Like, people tell me, well, you should be happy we're about to have the first woman president. But how can she look into the eyes of a young girl and say, you can do it too? What she has to say is that you can do it too if you marry a man who becomes president. You can do it too. You can do it too if you understand that the most important career choice you will ever make is who you're going to marry. That's the only way Hillary Clinton can be a role model to young girls. So, the way they have us, and let me tell you, I'm not saying that I'm happy about. I don't know what's gonna happen tonight, but I'm telling you, I don't want Hillary Clinton to be the first woman president. The first woman president I want to see is somebody who worked hard, came from meager beginnings, and didn't even get a whole lot of corporate money, got a lot of money from regular people, and became president. I don't want to see anybody who got put on by their husband. That's not my idea of a feminist ideal. And I'm kind, I don't have any dog. I don't have any dog in this fight. But what I'm saying is that I'm kind of happy in a certain way. And I know liberals are going to be like, oh my God, how are you happy? Because I don't want Hillary Clinton in there. I don't want her to be able to kind of traffic on Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton, you understand.
Don't forget Margaret Sanger.
Yeah, Margaret Sanger was my hero. I don't want to deal with that for 4 years. I'd rather listen to Trump. Trump's opposed to NAFTA, opposed to TPP. I'm just saying that all of these candidates are flawed, but I don't want her to do what Barack Obama did. Barack Obama had black people transfixed on the idea that he was the first black president. And that's all we cared about. We cared about what are the pictures of Malia and Sasha? Oh, it's so nice. Beautiful black family. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with symbolism. Symbolism has its place, but we went overboard. And I can't tell you that white women won't go overboard too if they get Hillary Clinton. So I think if Hillary Clinton does get stopped tonight by Donald Trump, I don't necessarily think that's an awful thing. It's going to be a whole lot of people think, oh my God, my head's on fire. I don't know what to do. I'm just not going to be one of those people. I have said before, I agree with Mark Lamont Hill when he says, we can survive Donald Trump, but we can't survive a loss to our values. That's kind of how I feel. And I'm looking at this computer right now, and it says Trump edges closer to 270 with Ohio upsets in Ohio, North Carolina, and Florida. Now, what I also want to call tonight is an end to all posters. I don't want to hear anything from anybody. All of y'all, Nate Silver, y'all full of shit. I'm going to say it right now. You full of shit. You had, one of y'all had me last week talking about it's a near zero chance of Trump winning. Well, guess what? It looks to me like he's edging close to 270. Don't say anything to me anymore. Just shut up. From now on, just shut up. You don't know the American people. You live in a bubble somewhere in D.C. or New York or whatever where you go out with your little friends and get nice food and get a little gourmet and all that stuff. Well, that ain't the world we live in. That ain't the world we live in. So why don't you go somewhere? If you're a mathematician, get a job as an engineer, but don't give me anything else about polling, Nate Silver, or none of y'all. You're worthless. I don't care. I said it. There it is. I said it. You worthless. Don't tell me anymore. I've been looking at your polls all week talking about, it looks like it's going to be Hillary. You a lie. Y'all wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. Again, this is white supremacy. You make money off just being wrong. I would get fired if I was at my job all the time and I was just wrong. You get wrong. You've been wrong, Nate Silver. You wrote an article, Nate Silver. Put this on Nate Silver's page. You wrote an article a while back talking about how, well, I made a mistake that time, but I'm right now. You still wrong. Go get a job at a car wash. Because if a black person was as wrong as much as you are, they would have a job as a car wash. What the hell you doing still on TV talking that crazy mess? Oh my God. I just can't believe these white people been telling us this all this time. They've been telling these white posters been telling us all this stuff. And they so wrong. And they still got jobs. We don't have no jobs. We had to raise $5,000 to put up lights and cameras and stuff just to get from black people. And I'm not unbought and unbossed. I'm happy to be bought by black people and some poor white people. I'm happy. I'm happy about that. But these people going around willy-nilly doing all kind of stuff, and they don't even have to raise money. They just tell you I was wrong and I fixed it. No, you ain't even fixed it. You just a fraud and you a failure and you just awful. Like, just go away. Posters need to leave me alone. They don't know what they talking about. I'm looking at a picture of Trump with his fist in the air. He in there. He look like he in there. He look good to me. He look good to me. I need everybody out there to get me a Make America Great hat again. Give me one of them red Make America Great Again hats, please. Because Trump is in there and I don't want no trouble.
Ready to take another one?
Sure, go ahead.
Take a sip.
How you doing?
Hi, Yvette. Good. I got cut off the last time, but the second part of my question, calling from Columbus, Ohio. The second part of my question, and I'd like to have your opinion on this. Now, we already know that Hillary is a cancer to Black America, in my opinion, just judging from her prior track record. with the prison industrial industry, giving her financing. But the Clinton campaign or the Clinton Foundation is actually under investigation at this present time. So what do you see, in your opinion,
Trump
where
said
Donald
he's going
Trump,
to put him in jail.
if he is elected president, could help Black Americans?
Oh.
Or can he? Can anybody help us as far as to establish some sort of a new generation of affirmative action? Because we do need government help. That's the only way that we're going to be able to advance.
Good. Yes. Speak to this, Yvette, because he's right.
I agree with you. We do need government help. I'm happy that you understand that we can't do it for self. That's the only way. This is the only avenue for community uplift. I'm not saying when people confuse what I say. When I say we need government help, I'm not talking about you as an individual can't get help. I'm talking about as a community we can't get help without the government. So I think there are things Donald Trump can do, even within the confines of capitalism. I don't put myself in that category. I don't believe Black people should be adhering to that notion of I can be a capitalist. But I believe that there are things that he can do in terms of, Donald Trump, before the election, asked for a new deal for Black people. A new deal for urban America. That's what we need. We need a new deal. We need investment. We need access to capital. That's a good thing. And what I would say is that that's something that we could hold him to. If he gets elected tonight, we can say, look, Donald Trump, you promised us, I know we didn't vote for you. We sorry. We make mistakes. We apologize. We're going to be there for you in 2020. If you hold up your end of the bargain and say, and begin implementing a new deal for Black people. I think if we push him to that, we can really do something. We'll see.
I got a question though. Is it too late? Like, did we blow our chance to negotiate with Donald Trump because we were too insulted by him telling the truth about poverty? Like, I feel like the only people we got to make moves through Omarosa now. You realize that's what we're like right now. We need to call Diamond and Silk because they're the ones who have the black juice. Like she's a power broker now. Like I don't know. Did we blow our chance by signing on with Miss Hillary and not asking anything of Donald Trump or actually Hillary Clinton? Yvette?
Well, no, I've made no qualms about the fact that I think we've blown our chances. I think on my Facebook page I said that we should at least have a meet with Donald Trump, at least call a meeting, at least have a conversation. It doesn't matter how you feel about Donald Trump. You could be. There are a lot of politics I don't have in common with Donald Trump. It doesn't mean I don't understand the power of having that conversation with him in terms of Black people, in terms of how we can leverage the Black vote, maybe to benefit Donald Trump at some later point. I've always said on my page, I think Black people should have that conversation. When Donald Trump said Black people are poor, the one thing I said is that he's right and that we should ask him what he's going to do about it. But instead, the reaction of the Black community was, well, who is he to talk about Black people and we ain't poor, we ain't that poor. Yeah, we are that poor. And the minute he stops talking, you're going to say Black people, yeah, we're poor. You just don't want him to say it. Why you don't want him to say it? I don't care who says it. As long as you fix it, I don't care who says it. So I have always said that Black people are 13% of the population. We're not in a position to say who we not going to talk to. We're not in a position to say we're never going to talk to Trump or we don't want to hear from Trump. I want to hear from Trump. If Trump called my phone right now, I'm ending this Facebook Live and I'm going to take the call. I'm just going to turn the camera off, knock the microphone over, and I'm going to take the call. That's because I think that if he called, I could do something good for Black people. I could maybe, put us in a position to where we benefit from being in America. This is the richest country in the world, and we don't have anything. Latinos have climbed over us. We have nothing. So I'm always trying to put myself in a position to get Black people more than we have. And what's wrong with that? Because he's a Republican? Because he's not like Hillary? I'm not a Republican either. I'm probably far to the left of Hillary. You could probably define me as a leftist. That doesn't mean I'm not going to take a conversation with Donald Trump. I will in a heartbeat. Especially, like, the thing to me that matters the most is, what is your goal? What is your aim? And my aim is always to extract as much from white people, for black people, that I can. So I'm always going to have that conversation. And even for white working class people, I think they got screwed. And I think that's the reason they're voting for Trump. I agree with them. You got screwed too. And the benefit for them is that they caught on quicker than us. And they decided to go find them a candidate. We should have went with Bernie. Black people should have voted for Bernie. Because Bernie was a whole lot better than Hillary. And and if we had voted for Bernie, there's no doubt in my mind, if black people had voted for Bernie, that tonight we would be talking about Bernie Sanders' landslide over Donald Trump than talking about how Trump might be our next president. No doubt in my mind. But you see what we did? Especially, black women, we got a lot to talk about. Y'all was smiling in the voting booth for Hillary. I know y'all were, hello, how you doing? It's a nice voting day, ain't it? You voted for Hillary, didn't you? You got a lot to answer for. And I think part of the problem in the black community is that we don't make these people answer. You're going to have to answer to Santito or whatever that thing is in the golf. You got to answer.
Now, is this another way that black baby boomers screwed us up? Is this yet another time where, like, black baby boomers haven't done their job? This is an open question. Because, black people nominated Hillary Clinton. Like, we were the firewall.
Yeah, we were.
Like, white people were willing to make her work for it. But black people were like, Miss Hillary. Miss Hillary.
Oh, Miss Hillary, Miss Hillary.
So, like, is this another, and the baby boomers were kind of the worst of that. So, is this another time?
Yeah, the baby boomers don't realize that their time is over. Like, the problem with the baby boomers, they don't realize that, like, stuff don't work in 2016 like it worked in 1962.
Well, they don't even know what worked in 1962. I'm not convinced that,
this
is an apolitical class. For the last 25 years, they've been telling their kids that government isn't the answer. And it's a lie.
And that's a lie.
And that's a lie. And that's a lie. So the kids aren't doing as well as they are. 7 out of 10 middle-class baby boomers kids are not doing as well.
They fall into poverty, actually.
Yeah, we are downwardly mobile as black people. So, like, this is what happens when we do bad politics. Like, we stop asking for government. We stop asking government to do its job. We stopped asking Obama to do his job, and this is what happens.
Well, this is what happens, too, when you don't know stuff. Like, how do you not know that you benefited from affirmative action, baby boomer? You benefited from affirmative action. White corporations weren't trying to give black people anything. It took government to come in and say, listen, you can't do that racist stuff no more at the workplace. You got to bring some black people in, make them middle managers and stuff. You got to do that. It took government to make white companies stop being racist. That's what it took. And so baby boomers benefited from that. They benefited from government. Now they got old, and now they're saying, I don't need government no more. What you mean? The only reason you have a house and you have a car and all that stuff right now is because of government. Because government said, listen, you got to hire this Negro over here. He's qualified, and you being racist. That's how it happened. But you got a bunch of baby boomers right now that don't understand what put them in the middle class. You got a bunch of baby boomers that don't understand how they got put on. Black people. You understand that, like, even when you look at Jim Crow, like, that wasn't a thing just because people hated black skin. That shut the door on us economically, so we couldn't have black business and all the other stuff everybody else has. So since government did that, government got to get it back. Government wasn't when people talk about Black Wall Street. Well, government, the police is government, and the police weren't protecting Black Wall Street. The police weren't protecting black people from black mobs. Well, that means you owe me, because the stuff that was taken from me and my ancestors, you owe me that. So I just, that's just the thing I just want to put out there. Stop thinking about it in that way, in the sense of, well, that's what it is. That's not what it is. That's not where we are. Stop thinking that well, I'm getting a handout if I get something from government. You know who gets something from government? Lobbyists. You know who gets something from government? Agribusiness. You know who gets something from government? Defense contractors. You know who gets something from government? Everybody but us. And then you got stupid Negroes running around talking about how getting something from government is getting a handout. How? Everybody gets it but us. You're stupid. Just own it. You're stupid. It's about the white man ain't gonna never do nothing for me. No, he's never like the government has never willingly just kind of decided, hey, black man and black woman, here you go. We got some nice stuff for you. We're gonna give you. No, that's always been stuff we had to fight for. So I'm not saying that it's gonna be easy. I'm not saying that like you get stuff from government because it's easy. I'm saying you get stuff from government because it's our government. That's why you get it, and because they owe it. I never said it was gonna be easy. But if you're not in for a fight, then I don't think you understand what it means to be black. Black people always gotta fight. That's part of what it means to be here in America, is to always have to fight and be black. That's part of it. If you don't want to be a part of that, then I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you think you're white, but it is what it is.
You need to ask people to subscribe to your page.
Okay, subscribe, everybody. I want everybody to subscribe to the Breaking Brown page. Subscribe to Yvette Carnell. If you don't friend me, subscribe to the page. And I want you to subscribe to YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube page, because what I want to do, I want to get black people together in mass to start forcing people to have the conversation and to start forcing people to address our needs. That doesn't happen unless we do that in mass. So if you're on YouTube, just search Yvette Carnell and my page will come up, and subscribe. If you're on Facebook, just put in Yvette Carnell, my page comes up, and subscribe or friend me. If you're on Breaking Brown, just like the Breaking Brown page, because this is what I want to do. Now I understand that we can't do it like most people. We don't have MSNBC. We don't have all that fancy stuff. But I think this is enough for us to kind of, create something where we kind of push the boundaries, where we push it forward. And that's just kind of what I think like I'm here for. I'm here to push that conversation and kind of do my part to ensure that black people, get what's owed us in the richest country in the world. So.
Good. All right, next caller.
Sure.
You want to spit out the phone number one more time?
All right. The phone number, if you want to call in, is 970-296-8222.
All right.
Hello?
How you doing?
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, hey, Yvette. This is Galen. I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas.
How you doing?
Sounds white.
I'm doing all right. I've been listening to your show for a while, and I agree with some things you talk about, and there's some things I don't, but I'm not gonna focus on that. But I will say, I just wanted to say that that when you look at the history and you see how 8 years of Bush Jr. kind of gave rise to President Obama because of the dissatisfaction. And then 8 years of President Obama made a whole lot of white folks dissatisfied with black, with a black man being president. We can kind of understand that I guess the level of dissatisfaction is equivalent to the level of change. So if he's elected, I can kind of see where that's coming from. And I didn't vote personally, because I didn't think either one of the candidates was, going to do anything for me. But I do agree with Trump on the immigration, and I did see your video you did with Dr. Boyce on how immigration does not benefit blacks economically. And I want to know if you think if Trump is elected, if he's actually going to follow through with building that wall.
I think thank you for that call. Thank you for that call. I appreciate that. And I don't think he's going to build a wall, but I don't think the wall is the issue. I think the real issue is the sentiment. The real issue is white working class people who feel that their jobs and just to a certain extent, they have a point. They're not all just crazed and racist. that their jobs have been taken by immigrants who, the capital class is really an issue here. The ruling elite are the problem, and the ruling elite use poor people against poor people. And so what the ruling elite are doing is using poor immigrants, poor Mexican immigrants, against white working class people. And the white working class people are right to kind of call out what's happening. I don't think they necessarily understand what's happening or how it's happening, but they're right to kind of call it out. They understand that their lifestyle has changed. And so I don't think Trump's going to be able to build a wall, but I think Trump will enforce immigration policy and laws that are on the books, and I think he'll do that in a way that makes a lot of people uncomfortable.
Okay. Well, we'll wait and see if he gets elected. What's gonna happen? So.
Yeah, we're gonna see very soon.
All right, let's go.
All right. Well, you have a good one.
You do too. I appreciate your call.
You're on the air. Hello? Hello? You're on the air.
Hello?
Yes.
I'm here. How you doing?
Yes. How's it going, Yvette?
Pretty good. How about you?
Not too bad. Hey, I just wanted to put something out here for everyone. I live in Texas, and I work at a boutique investment banking firm. And you talk about black wealth sometimes, and it's very interesting. Personally, when it comes to work, everybody, at my establishment, I mean, we love President Obama, right? Not for his politics, but simply for some of the things that he did for Wall Street and some of the firms, right? So one of those things is the Jobs Act that he signed back in 2012, right, which allowed a lot of small businesses to pre-IPO, lowered a lot of the restrictions for raising capital, and did some different things. And what I'm really talking about is, before Facebook, before Twitter, before all these companies went public, right, they were pre-IPO. So if you had enough money and if you had enough capital and you were an accredited investor, you could get up in there and, purchase some of the shares before they went public and, make a really good margin. And, I've never seen, really, except, maybe trust funds and different things, but not African Americans being able to participate in those offerings. So when you talk about, investing in the secondary market or investing in the stock market and purchasing stock, I mean, you've already missed the boat, right? You can go buy Twitter right now, but I mean, good luck. Or you can go buy Facebook right now, but I mean, it's already peaked, and maybe it's a long-term investment, but you've really missed the money. And it saddens me because it's like, I don't know how, or if Trump can do it or Clinton or whoever wins this, where black people can have access to capital to really legitimately invest in the market and make a return. I mean, but I'm not going to mention the firm I work at, but I'm not going to say the fix is in, but if you don't have substantial capital to put into the market to invest in, whether it's mutual funds or, corporate bonds or stock funds, you are not going to become wealthy. Right. And I hate to say it that way, but you're just not.
No, but
you're not going to take $1,000 and put it in the market it just does not happen.
Huh? Right.
And it saddens me, right? No, go ahead.
Yeah, no, we have a lot of, in the black community, there's a lot of people who punish black people for so-called not being financially literate. But that's not the problem. The problem is we don't have investment capital. We are a people in a capitalist society without access to non-predatory investment capital. That's the problem. Any problem that doesn't include putting massive amounts of money and structures in the black community, is not a serious, redress for the situation that, slavery left us. We don't have the capital. You're right, $1,000 or $2,000 in the market this late in the game is a joke. The last thing we should be doing in the morning is checking the Dow. That's not about us right now. We need bills from our government that are organized around getting capital into black pockets and investment capital into black businesses. Anything that's not that, is just not about us. It's just policy not organized around us, around metrics that don't have anything to do with us. We shouldn't care how well the stock market's doing within reason. We should care like how well your uncle, like how many employees do black-owned businesses have. Like that should be our metric.
Yeah. No. I agree, and let me just add to that. In terms of what Irony is saying, people don't understand that like investing in the market is about scale. So what that means is that like
compound interest. Compound interest is about scale.
It means that you have to have money. You have to start out with some money. You can't come in and invest like $100 and get like, how much is one share of Twitter right now? Like you can't come in. That's not scale. That's not scale. And like a lot of that has to do with inside information. I'm not talking about insider trading, but I'm talking about like somebody who works for this company and that company's going to be working with this company. They signed an agreement or whatever, what have you. Like people don't like part of the problem of coming from a slave is that you don't understand how wealth maneuvers and how wealth moves in the world. And it's not our fault. It's the fault of what happened to us and who did that to us. But we don't understand. Like, I hear people say, well, you can just invest $100 in Facebook. No, the time to invest in Facebook was so long ago. It was when Mark Zuckerberg still couldn't grow chin hair. That was the time to invest in Facebook. You weren't anywhere near him during that time. Like and that's because you were a black person who didn't have any money, and those people weren't near him. So like, I don't like to burst people's bubbles either, but the truth is the truth. And you're not busting anybody's bubble. The truth is the truth. We don't have the money and we don't have the knowledge to get involved in this stock market game. And this game is a game for people who have capital. If you have capital, you can play. Because then you can lose too, and it's okay. If you do lose by chance, it's all right. We can't play in this game. And I think it's irresponsible for black people to keep telling other black people that the road to wealth is the stock market. It's just not true. It's a lie.
The problem isn't financial literacy. The problem isn't what you don't know. No, go right ahead. Go right ahead. So you're...
No. I was going to say that she's absolutely right. It's this thing where we believe, like you said, you can put $100 or even $1,000. It's about scale. Like, so Warren Buffett isn't a multi-billionaire because he started out with a small amount of money. I mean, he built shares over time, and he invests tons of money, billions and billions of dollars into these companies and buys hundreds of millions of shares and moves the market. That's how he makes money. Right? And he has these reinvestment companies and insurance and all these different things. But you're absolutely right, and there is no way to dig out of this without government. I'm not one of those guys who says,
Good.
you know what, we can do it on our own.
Yes.
We don't need them. We'll go. That's bullshit, right? You need
garbage.
the same acts, the same things that Obama did for the market. We need that in our community. We cannot move forward without it. We shouldn't bullshit ourselves and think that we're going to get through it any other way. We didn't get to this point without government intervention, negative as it was, and we're not going to get out of it that way. And we need to be serious about it and have a serious conversation about where we're at. We're poor. Our communities are poor. We do not have capital.
No, we don't. Thank you.
Assistance.
Thank you.
That's just what it is.
Thank you.
Thank you for telling the truth. And it's not a matter of what I believe or what I dream about.
Or even what we did. We didn't do this to ourselves.
No, we didn't do this to ourselves. We didn't put ourselves in chains and drag us anywhere. You brought me here. Now you need to do something about that. So, I really thank this gentleman who just called in because he works in investments. There are a lot of people who don't work in investment who like to talk investment. And so what he sees very close up is who's making the money. Who's getting the money? Like, who's investing and who's coming away with money? And we don't have the capital. I can't say this enough, but I say this all the time. Capitalism is for people who have capital. The middle black family is worth $1,700. That's not capital. That's not capital. That's not even a nice sofa. Honestly, that's not even a nice living room set. But that's where we are, and we're not there because we did anything wrong. A lot of these do-for-self people like to push it like it's something that we did wrong, like we made a mistake. But we didn't make a mistake. This is something that happened to us that we're still trying to climb out of. And like the thing that I said before, and I'll say it again, it's just like white people didn't do it for self. The immigrants who came to this country didn't make it on their own. They made it because of government, from the Homestead Act to everything else. They got government help. So you can't now turn around and say we shouldn't get a government help. That's a Republican ideology. For years, Republicans have said, you got to do for self, black people. You can't count on the government. And now the problem is we have black people saying we got to do for self. These black people have adopted Ronald Reagan's ideology. And I'm telling you that anybody you come across who has adopted Ronald Reagan's ideology is not your friend. That's a person who, whether they know it or not, is not looking for the best interest, out for the best interests of black people, and that's problematic.
All right, let's take another call.
Sure.
Hey, it's about my call dropped earlier. I think my track phone dropped earlier. Sorry about that. You know, can y'all hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay, all right. Yeah, a couple of things. I think I talked about Donna Brazile. Funny how Donna Brazile and these other propped up black females that go on TV never say to talk about the fact that black women, I'm talking about going to Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, when he said at Lilly Ledbetter Act, which actually for white women, never asked them about how come black women who had just as many college degrees, working in many of the same industries, are still getting paid substantially less than their white female counterparts. Notice how they never bring that up when it comes to equal pay. But, yeah, I always thought about that. But the thing is that when you look at this election, I think it may be good that Donald Trump wins. And it's crazy how black folks beat me over the head because I voted third party. And I always say, why should I vote for Hillary Clinton then? Give me a good reason why I should vote for Hillary Clinton, besides the fact she ain't jumped and called me the N-word in my face. I'm looking for that reason.
Yeah.
And then the thing is, talked about jobs also. Now, growing up in Alabama, I've seen this up in Montgomery, where I'm from. My dad's been at the same factory for 38 years, be next month. Get ready to retire in a year. Same factory, never looked for a job in 38 years. My mom also been a manager, had different jobs like that. Doing good. But now, you got people saying, this is a problem. I said I'm a vet, I'm a veteran. Mm-hmm. They always say, hey, you go in, you gotta get a job. Problem is, there ain't no jobs. You can't get a job in the government now unless you know somebody. Now I live in Phoenix. I wouldn't get a new Social Security card. Unless you're speaking Spanish, you're not going to get a job up in there unless you want to do security. So you can't even run to the government jobs anymore. But we got a bunch of older, I'm not talking about my parents, I'm talking about in general, with these baby boomers. The kids said, oh, go find a job. These kids don't want to work. Where the hell are the jobs? Somebody tell me that.
Yeah. So can we speak to a few of your issues? The first one I'd like to talk about, actually, I think is you brought important. Black people, we need to renegotiate our allyship with white women. White women right now think they're progressive, and it's a lie. Even on the center-left side, like pretty much anyone who wore a pantsuit to vote today is not fighting hard enough for the Negro. Like, to be honest, like, any semblance of equal work and equal pay that has emerged over the last 40 years is because of the work that black people did in the civil rights movement. So you would think that white women, who were the major beneficiaries of that movement through affirmative action, would be like serious, committed to justice and progress, because at some point in time, I believe in intersectionality enough that I know that like there will only be like black people and the LGBT community and white women will only rise if we start like being allies with each other. Except white women have been greedy. They just ate and took and took and took. And you know what? They think they deserve it. They think they own it. They think they like. Hillary Clinton actually believes that her success has nothing to do with being married to a former president. That's the best career move she's made. You know, like let's stop pretending that like being married to white wealth does not entail getting a little bit of that white wealth. And that's why affirmative action works so well for white women. It was because once the white community realized that all the wealth stays in the white community, it was no big deal. So now you hook up your daughter and your niece as much as you hooked up your nephew and your son. So we need to start playing harder ball with white women in terms of being allies. And I think that's the right move to do, because right now they get all in their feelings and they think the whole world revolves around, like, you know, abortion issues. And like, I'm pro-choice and I would support these issues. I just would like them to show up when there's lead in our water, and I would want them to stay there and not just show up for a march, but actually like lobby for like funding schools. And like this, like we have this notion, and Tommy Curry, a professor at Texas A&M, has done some really interesting research on this. We have this notion that white women don't participate or perpetuate injustice, when it turns out they're just the second most privileged group in the United States. Like, they're a slightly worse than men, but relatively privileged, and they enforce that privilege on the people below them. And if we all became allies, and that means white women showing up for like things like funding neighborhood schools, not charter schools or selective enrollment schools that are designed to pick out like Negroes nobody wants to go to school with, but like actual neighborhood schools that have to take everybody. If they showed up for those kinds of battles, we could all make moves together. But until they do that, like, I think we need to renegotiate like our allyship with that community. And also I'm all in my feelings about the LGBT community too, because I think they need to go harder for us as well. So like, maybe this is a wake-up call for all of the money-centered left, that the people on the farther left and the poor people like need you to show up for us if you expect us to show up for you. Yvette, do you have anything to say?
No, I agree. And I think what he said about equal pay was very interesting. You know, even with black women, we saw Gabrielle Union say, you know, black women should make as much as men. And that's really sort of a cop-out, right? Because black women do make as much as black men. You just don't make as much as white women and white men. So what we have is just like, even in places like black women are not willing to have like this racial conversation. And that's who we need in the game. We don't need, you know, black men can't really go up against white women. It's not going to work out right. What we need is black women to go up against white women. We need black women to go up against white women and be like, listen, you taking everything. You stealing everything. You goddamn witch. Like, you know, I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm just saying, like, you're taking all the cookies. Like, there are only so many cookies, and you, like, not, you work, like, it's worse with white women because you live with the baker. Like, you live with the baker. The person who bakes the cookies is your daddy, your brother, your husband. And then he baked the cookies, and then you be like, well, he didn't give me enough cookies before he left for work, so I'm snatching your cookies too, black people. That's what it is. Like, so I think black women particularly have to get in a mode of challenging white women. Stop talking about how we all minorities. No, we not. No, black women don't go to sleep with capital every night. They go to sleep most of the time with black men who don't have anything. It's not the same situation. So I think we have to stop letting white women eat our cake. Like, no, you got your own cake, and then you took my cake. Like, one of the biggest schemes I feel like that ever happened was allowing white women to have affirmative action. Because that was really just a way for white men to get what they gave. I can get it back if I just put my wife in that position. I can get it back if I put my sister in that position. I can get it back if I put my mama in that position. So white men give it away just to get it back because they have white females in their life, in their family. We don't get it. Like, all that affirmative action, honestly, shouldn't be set aside for nobody else. I don't care where you come from. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm putting it out there. I want a hierarchy. I want a hierarchy. I want the descendants of slaves to come first. Only because we've been here the longest and free labor. Now then we can get some Latinos in there. Then we can get some other people in there, and we got to take care of white working class people because they've been screwed too. So we can get them in there, but we can get everybody in there. But how come I can't be priority though? I've never been priority. Like, black people have never been priority. I'm not saying you can't get a piece of the pie, but how come I can't, like, how come in the hierarchy of people who need stuff in America?
And whole communities, not just individual,
yeah,
whole communities. It's not enough to like give us a black president, but like put lead in like all of our water.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like
no.
the lead water is like black people and really poor white people. Like, and then how come really poor white people can't come together and be like, you know what, they're screwing us too?
I think they did. They just did. White people, they got mad and they made a move. That's what we saw tonight.
Yeah, but they still didn't make a move with us.
No.
I mean, like, why can't we come together? Like, why can't we, like, and this, I can't, like, people like, why don't you go to, I can't come together with white workers. They got to come with me. Like, I'm not the problem. Like, black people have always been willing to, like, talk to white working class people. It's this you who kind of believe that, like, we're the problem. We've never been the problem. Black people, in terms of economics, we are not the problem. We've never been the problem. But you still believe the black people are the problem. We're not the problem. Like, we're not, like, the capitalists.
The bankers are the problem. And this is another thing. Like, Trump would, like, hit a few of the right notes, right? He was talking about the establishment's rigged. I know because I used to buy politicians. So, like, he hit that right. We can work with this. Black people, it's not over. It's not over. We can work with let the white women cry their eyes out about Miss Hillary losing. That's on
and
them.
Let's just say something.
We can work with this guy, or at least we can work with a class-conscious white Republican base who, you know, it was worse when they were hating on gays and like all of that other stuff, all that culture war stuff. Right now, the white people who voted for Trump are pissed because they're getting treated like Negroes.
Yeah,
like,
they ain't used to that.
Yeah, they're getting called deplorable. We've been called thug. We can come together.
Yeah.
The deplorables and the thugs can be friends and take money away from, like, you know, the people in pantsuits is what I think.
I think we can definitely do that. I think we can, you know, I think we can definitely do that. And I don't want anybody to say, oh, Yvette said we shouldn't, you know, blacks and immigrants aren't friends, or Yvette said black and work. No, I think working class people, I'm a person who believes that all working class people, not all people in pantsuits, all working class people should come together for the benefit of working class people. That includes working class white people, that includes black people, that includes, since most of us are working class, that includes working class immigrants, you know, Mexican Americans.
Wow, we could be talking about labor.
It includes everybody. But I'm saying that you got to come together with your interest in mind. I'm not coming together with you to just share apple pie. I'm coming together with you in terms of how we can benefit each other. And white working class people, you are the ones who, y'all just seem not to want to get together with us. But we need each other.
All right, let's talk the show.
Okay, so what I want to do, you know, the reason why we're here at freaking 2 a.m. and talking about Donald Trump and everything, this is the Breaking Brown show. I want to continue to move this show to something big so we can force stuff. So what I want you all to do, we still collecting money because we got a bunch of lamps and microphones and all kinds, and we still need budget. And we need the marketing budget, and we still need all kind of stuff. So Irene's talking to me, and I'm talking to me too. BreakingBrown.com. We accept credit cards. We accept everything you got. Because I think, honestly, black people, I think this is a moment. Like, I think if you know, with Trump surging, let me see. How much does Trump have right now? From what I see Van Jones crying, looking real sad. Van Jones don't look right. Van Jones don't look right, y'all. 247 for Trump. What do you got to give? 270?
270.
Oh, he close. Let me see how Fox got him for him. Fox got him up to 254 out of 270. Let me tell you, I think this is a moment for us. I don't think this is the end for black people if Trump gets elected. I think this is a moment for us to get what we need, because Trump wants to. What does Trump tell you all the time? I was very successful. Right? He wants to be successful with the black community too. So I think this is our moment. We got to talk to Trump. We can't be like, you going to still sit around and talk about Hillary. Hillary's over. I don't know. I can't say, I don't know how election's going to end up. I don't know what kind of stuff is going on behind the scenes. I can't say it's over. But what I'm telling you right now, 254 to 218 that's something. So what I'm telling you is that we have to get our butts in gear. We got to stop just thinking like, oh, well, you know, he's a Republican or whatever. No, like, you can have a conversation with anybody. And sadly, you know, we missed the conversation during the primary, during the general. If he wins tonight, I don't know, but if he wins tonight, I think that's a conversation we should have. And I don't think we should listen to a lot of white Democrats who are telling us that, oh no, you shouldn't have that conversation. That makes you a racist and Trump is awful. Why would you have that conversation? Because I need to have it. We ain't got no wealth in our community. I need to talk to Trump. I need to talk to somebody. I can't talk to you. I've been talking to liberals for a long time and I ain't got nothing. So maybe there's something there. I'm just saying, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Please.
All right. So go over to
www.breakingbrown.com. Breakingbrown.com. And donate to us, and let's see if we can't get something started. Let's see if we can't get the Negro Whisperers off TV.
All right, let's take another call.
And so let's talk to the next person up. Oh my Lord, I can't believe this.
You're on.
How you doing?
Yo, what's up?
What's going on?
This is Curry from Miami calling in.
Hey Curry.
And all I got to say is workers of the world unite.
Yes.
And the reason I start off with that quote is because one of the biggest problems that's led us to this point is the failure of public education. It's failed to let us know that, black people have been here before. We were there back, way back during Bacon's Rebellion, you know what I'm saying, with white workers and black workers did see common interests and did forge coalitions to, overthrow the planter elite, but then they're foiled by the creation of race, right? If we get into more modern times, you can think about and consider the early 1900s coming out of the progressive movement, where blacks and whites overcame, laissez-faire government, intense discrimination, and did what? Created coalitions that were associated with socialism and communism. Socialism and communism were being heavily discussed in the early part of the 20th century. But of course, this information is left out of the textbook, so we don't know models that have worked. I mean, you're talking about approaching Trump and asking him for, some sort of kickback, right, or apologizing for a mistake. That ain't gonna work unless we can form some form of coalition that can hurt him in some kind of way. And again, these are some of the lessons that are missing from our history books that our students aren't getting, and therefore are causing a lot of over-emotionalism about tonight's seemingly pending result. We've been here before. We can't fight back. All we got to do is look back into our past, and we will find at least some clues to the way forward.
Well, thank you, Carlo. I do believe that we can fight back, but that entails a good deal of activism. That entails movement politics.
Absolutely.
That entails us getting organized, and organized around a specific agenda, not around personalities. Like what we've seen before is us organized around personalities, organized around Barack Obama. Organize around
but
this,
not our economic interests,
and not our economic interests. And I think we have to get an agenda with our economic interests specific to our interests, and say this is where we are, and this is what we need. And I don't think we've done that thus far. So I don't think we know what we can do because we haven't done it.
And it's because we don't know it. We haven't studied it. I'm a teacher here in Miami, Florida, and let me just tell you. If you take a look at the textbooks, which are coming out of the Texas textbook industry dominates what our kids know in these public schools, right?
Uh-huh.
This is either poorly covered or not covered at all. The fact that, we've organized around these issues. We've made, even Fred Hampton and the Panthers, he was able to form a coalition of Appalachian whites, radical, college-educated blacks, along with, inner-city blacks from Chicago and surrounding areas, and as soon as he makes that coalition, he's taken out, the point is that creating those sorts of cross-racial but economically linked associations is going to be critically important in the age of Trump, because we got to create a vehicle that can put some pressure on a President Trump and a Republican-dominated Senate and what's soon to be a Republican-dominated Supreme Court. And we got to realize that, if we do, we can force change. We've done it before. We can do it again.
Oh no, I agree with you. I agree with you, but I think it's like what you just said is like we need a political education. That's really what you said. Like you didn't put it in those
Absolutely.
words. You didn't put in those words, but it's time for a political education, and I don't think black people can survive the fact that, you know, it's not over. We can do it. But listen, this requires us to get that kind of political education quick and in a hurry. And we don't have a choice anymore. Now, it's not like we got to just come up to Trump and say, hey, you know, put our hat out. But, you know, if we organize around a certain agenda, like, he has no choice but to kind of pay attention and see what we're talking about, to give us a hearing. And, you know, I don't think, the problem is so many black people were ready for Hillary to win tonight that we're not ready to deal with the Trump presidency. We didn't even see that as a possibility. So we're thinking, whoo, I can just throw the sweat off my head because Hillary's going to get in tonight. And we didn't even consider the possibility of what if she doesn't? What's the backup plan? How do you be a black people in the country with what America has done to black people and not have a backup plan?
We're having some technical difficulties.
Well, they say necessity is the mother of all invention.
Yeah.
We're in those times now. We're going to have to adapt soon, you know.
Yeah, right now, tonight.
Cut you off.
No, tonight. You're right. We got to adapt tonight. Not just soon. We got to adapt right now.
Absolutely.
So I thank you for calling in, Carl. I appreciate it.
Google is our friend. You can Google the African Blood Brotherhood 1920s. Look at their agenda. Look up some names like W.A. Domingo. Look up Hubert Harrison, what he was talking about in the Socialist Party in the 1910s, 1920s.